You ever been real disappointed in yourself? And not like the time I got day drunk and forgot my mom's birthday. Not that kind of disappointment. Like strikes your core, like you just don't know where you're at in life whatsoever and what you're doing. I had that moment. I had that moment around one of my most proud moments. In 2004, I graduated college. But between my last exams and the graduation ceremony, I had a couple days to kill. So I decided to go home and visit my parents. Got up in the morning, got in my car, drove to Starbucks, was gonna grab a coffee. My normal drink at Starbucks was a venti black coffee with 1 shot of espresso. But my thought to myself was, I'm just graduating college, I'm a man now. Time to take on this world. Let me get a venti black coffee with 4 shots of espresso. So I got my stuff, cruising down the highway, drinking my venti, smoking cigarettes, blasting the tunes, and all of a sudden, I have to take the worst shit ever. Because that's what coffee does to you. It makes you have to take a big shit. So I feel it in my stomach, and there's nowhere to pull over, so now I'm having to drive like ass out of my seat, clenching like this the whole way, like you could get a whole arm or two underneath there. And if you do that long enough, it goes away. I'm not sure where it goes, but it goes somewhere. And rest assured, when it comes back, it's coming back with twice the force it came the first time. So you better act quick. Goes away, I think I'm in the clear, but I drank so much liquid, and now I had to take a horrible piss. But that's not a problem. I finished off that coffee, and I got a venti cup sitting right there. So I go ahead and I just pee and fill the venti cup up. And I think to myself, what are you doing? You're an adult. You can't be driving around town with a venti piss in your car. How old are you? And now, like I said, I had just graduated college. I took a lot of logic and critical thinking courses, and all that learning just went out the window, almost literally, when I decided at 80 miles an hour to take that venti cup full of piss and just throw it out the window. But because of how fast I was going, it just went like right back in my window and covering myself in my own urine. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm covered in my own pee. And then guess who comes back? My friend the shit. So now I'm really panicking, but I see a gas station and I pull over. I park in the gas station parking lot and I get out of the car, and I have this thing, I don't know if anybody else shares this experience, but when you really have to go to the bathroom, the closer you get to an actual toilet, the more intense it starts to get. So I know that's about to happen. So as I'm entering the Quick Trip, I'm unbuckling my pants and undoing my zipper, covered in my own, you're just soaked head to toe almost. And the guy's like, good morning. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And I'm also walking like this because I know if I take too big of a step, it's all over at this point. So I gotta walk real tight. I get into the bathroom, handle my shit, literally, I handle it, and I'm like, sweet, in the clear. Then I look to my left, and it's a single occupancy bathroom, and there's no toilet paper. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll use paper towels. I've done that before. But then I look up, and it's just an air dryer, and you can't wipe your ass with powered air. That's gets real sloppy at a point. So now I'm left with a couple options. One, I can just pick up my pants, count it as a loss, and go home, but that's just nasty, and I still have like 30 miles to drive. Not doing that. I can get up, go out there, buy a roll, and go right back into the bathroom, but then the jig is up at that point. Everybody's gonna know what I just did. And I look in the corner, and there's a small table with a tablecloth and a plastic fern on it. So there's 2 more options. I wasn't gonna use the plastic fern because I don't know what happens if you wipe your ass with a plastic fern. I've never done it before. So I used the tablecloth and then made a big mess of that. And then I just turned the table around so my side was just facing the corner. And then I just peeled out of that gas station. And then 3 days later, the University of Georgia gave me a degree in political science and international affairs. Felt like I should have gave it back. To the best of my knowledge, I still hold the record for the most pork plates eaten at the barbecue restaurant in my hometown. Pork plate is this: half a pound of pork, beans, coleslaw, french fries, 2 pieces of garlic bread. I ate 7 full plates. Didn't mean to, that's just kind of how the night went. It's always all you can eat, so when you sit down there, you get your first plate, polish it off, no problem. And the server comes by and she goes, "You want to pork it again?" That's what she said. Now, I'm a man of few rules in my life. Rule number 1, if you're a dude over 200 pounds, you're done wearing flip-flops in public, okay? No one wants to see your fat fucking feet under that much pressure. Put on some sneakers. I play by the same rules. Rule number 2, if you're the type of person that likes to eat egg salad sandwiches, do that shit in the privacy of your own home. Tired of going in the break room at work, watching somebody eat a fart sandwich, you nasty fucker. And rule number 3, if a buxom southern lady asks you to pork it again, you pork it again. Don't be a pussy. So I was like, yeah, I'll pork it again. That's plate 2. Plate 2, no problem. You want to pork it again? That's plate 3. Plate 3 in an all-you-can-eat situation is where an air bubble forms right here and you have to let out an audible burp so you can continue to eat. So that's what I did. You want to pork it again? That's plate 4. Plate 4 is where the tables around you start to notice what you're doing. Because they were sat and you were already eating and now they're closing out their tab and you're still getting more food delivered to the table. You want to pork it again? That's plate 5. Plate 5 is where you start to smell yourself. I don't know if you've ever eaten that much pork and beans and coleslaw in one sitting, but it starts to come out your pores at some point. And that's around plate 5. Pork it again, plate 6. Plate 6. I couldn't even answer questions anymore. I was just like, yes, bring more food. Plate 7, want to pork it again? That's plate 7. Set the record. They rang a bell. I stood up and addressed the crowd and thanked them for coming out tonight. And then I made an immediate exit to the bathroom where I opened the door and found a father teaching his son how to be a good restaurant patron and how you always wash your hands before re-entering a dining room. And I came in drunk off of smoked meats and just sweating and looked at both of them and went, I'm sorry. And then vomited at all the stalls. Not in any particular stall, just all over 3 doors. And my name's still on the wall in that restaurant. I know what you're thinking to yourself the whole time I've been up here. Is that the same Paul Gallois who won Best Dancing Fan at a 2007 Atlanta Hawks Phoenix Suns NBA game? You better fucking believe it's the same Paul Gallois. My buddy got us tickets to the Hawks game. He was like, they do this new cool thing. It's called the Sprite Jam Cam. Best Dancing Fan wins 20-ounce Sprite for their whole section and courtside seats on a couch. And I was like, well, I have to win this. So I started to think to myself, though, and got a little nervous because I was like, if I'm going to win this, I'm going to be on a Jumbotron in front of like 20,000 people. So I did what I always do when I get performance anxiety. I just got drunk as shit. Second quarter, I'm pretty well lit, and that's when the Sprite Jam Cam happens. Announcer comes on and he goes, all right, Atlanta, on your feet. It's time to show your spirit. Sprite Jam Cam, Best Dancing Fan wins courtside seats on a couch, 20-ounce Sprite. Let's see it, Atlanta. And that's when I drunkenly tore my shirt off and went running towards the closest cameraman. That move will get you into the finals of the Sprite Jam Cam, where you'll find yourself in the finals against 2 10-year-old children. They're like, now it's time for the finals. First up from Kennesaw, Georgia, 10-year-old Brandon. First up from Kennesaw, 10-year-old Brandon. Let's see it, Brandon. Now here's Brandon's problem. Came to the game with some old bullshit dance moves. This is 2007. No one was doing the Running Man then. It's the NBA. Step it up. And they were like, your second finalist. 10-year-old Susan from Norcross, Georgia. 10-year-old Susan. Here's Susan's problem. She was good, but she wasn't quite ready for the big time yet. See me in a few years, sister. Your third and final finalist, 27-year-old Paul Gallois. 27-year-old Paul Gallois. Let's see it, Paul. And that's what I was like, yeah, I am from Atlanta. I got a bunch of spirit. So I did the Dirty Bird on the Jumbotron shirtless. I think we all remember that. But here's the problem. They gave us each a minute to do our finals dance. And the Dirty Bird takes about 15 seconds to do. So I was left with 45 seconds of just free time. And I was so drunk and exhausted from all this dancing, the only thing I could think of to do was bite my bottom lip and just go. And I won that contest pretty fucking easily.